What's up, guys? Here to make a video about the Fantasy Football League. First of all, I want to say how stoked I am that everybody's been into it. It seems like you guys are feeling it with all the text messages and stuff and the beginning of the shit talking. I've been doing fantasy football for a few years now, and it's always been with people from work or like acquaintances. This is my first league with like actual friends, and the whole time I was doing it before, I was always thinking about how cool it would be to be able to do it with you guys, because it'd just be fun. But a couple questions. I didn't want to spend all the time texting it just because I hate looking at my phone that much. But a couple of the questions were waivers. I'm going to talk about trades, and then also the scoring system. I made some changes tonight. I don't know if anybody's looked at their app in the last like 15 minutes, but you noticed that it's fractional scoring now, so it was like there'll be a decimal involved. And so how this works is every single time one of your players does something, you get points for it, compared to the standard setting is at milestones. So if you get 1 point for your guy running 10 yards, now you get a point for every single yard he runs, which I think is more fair, because if he ran 9 yards and got tackled, you wouldn't get any points. But if you ran 10, you would get points. So I think 9 yards is pretty good. So you should get points for each one. So I'm going to go over the scoring real quick. When you look at your guys in your roster, you see the points next to them before they even play. And that's what ESPN is projecting the guys would score. And that's what their analysts and all that stuff, they're the average of what they think their points at the end of the week are going to be. They're usually pretty inaccurate. I find that usually your guys do better. At least the ceilings are higher than what the ESPN will do, but you guys will just have to learn how that is. But the way we're scoring is for your quarterbacks, every time they throw a touchdown, you get 4 points. If they throw an interception, it's -2 points. For every 25 yards they passed will equal 1 point, but you're going to get fractional points for every single yard that they throw. Let's see, a 2-point conversion, they get 2 points. If you have a running quarterback, if he runs 10 yards, that equals 1 point. What else here? If he runs in a touchdown, you get 6 points for that. So the only thing different there is that if it's a passing touchdown, if your quarterback throws a touchdown, your quarterback gets 4. For the wide receivers, for every 10 yards, they get 1 point. Every time, this is a PPR league, which is points per reception, so every single time they actually catch the ball, you get a point. So a reception is 1 point, 10 yards is 1 point. If they catch a touchdown, it's 6 points. If they fumble a ball, it's going to be -2. This is once the game starts going, it's all going to make a lot of sense, and you're going to be able to like kind of see as it's happening, and the scoring is going to make a lot of sense. For the running backs, it's kind of the same thing. Every 10 yards they run, you get 1 point. So if they run into touchdown, you get 6. If your running back catches a ball, he gets 1 point. With your defenses and stuff, that's a little bit more complicated. You get like points for for sacks. You get points for how many yards are allowed. It's like it's pretty complex on the defense side. It's complex, but it's simple because there's a ton of categories, because a lot can happen on defense. So how to look at this? If you go to the league and you look at league settings, you go to scoring, and you can look at every single type of scoring that there is. And keep looking down, because I'm looking at the papers I have for the actual scores. And any other questions about the scoring, just text me and I'll put it in. If you guys don't like the fractional scoring and you want to do like the scoring where it'd be only at milestones, you get points, then let me know. There is one other thing about the scoring, is for the guys, there is one big milestone thing. If a quarterback throws for over 400 yards, which is hard to do, you're going to get 6 bonus points for your quarterback. If your running backs run for over 100 yards, you get 4. If they run for over 200 yards, you get 6 extra points. So for like a total of 10 if they have over 200 yards from scrimmage in a game, which is pretty hard to do. So it's nice to be able to get those bonuses. It's something you can root for. If you see your guy, he's like at 90 yards, you're like, okay, only 10 more yards, I get 4 extra points. It makes it a little bit more fun. Excuse me. And then same thing with the wide receivers. If they if they have 100 yards receiving, you get a little bit more points. If they have 200 yards, you get 6 extra points, for a total of 10 if they. Okay, and Richie had a question about waivers. And with waivers, we haven't experienced them truly yet since the first week of the season hasn't happened. And what's going to happen is that the Thursday night, the Sunday night, and the Monday night game are going to happen. And a lot can happen in a week of football. A guy can go down with a season-ending injury. There's always guys during the season that nobody's ever heard of that end up becoming football stars and sensations and score a ton of points in fantasy. So those guys are going to happen, and we're all going to want to pick them up. Well, at the end of the week, on Monday night, all your guys are going to be have played, and the roster is going to be locked. So you're not going to be able to do anything with your roster till Tuesday morning. Everybody becomes unlocked, and we're going to be able to add and drop players that we want to. So just like now, you can look at your players on your roster, and you can look at the players that are available. It's going to be the same thing, but when you select somebody to pick them up, they're not going to go straight to your roster. So what's going to happen is waivers, and with waivers is it's going to do an inverse order of our rankings. So the guy who's in first is going to be last on waivers, and the guy who's in last place is going to be first on waivers. And this kind of helps the people that have crappier teams or that are losing, gives them the first chance to adjust their team to pick up guys. And the guys that are doing good, they're at the bottom of the waivers, they have the last chance. So say Joe Blow receiver just goes off for the Saints, and we all go, oh crap, we need this guy on our team. Well, Tuesday morning, we can all select a guy we want to drop, and select the guy that we want to add. We want to drop this dude, add Joe Blow. Well, it's not going to just happen instantly. So some people play where there's no waivers, and the first person to log on and grab the guy gets it. But I think it's a little bit better since we're new to help the people that might not be doing so good. So say all 10 of us put it in that we want this guy. Well, the guy who's in last place is going to get him because he's going to be number one on waivers. But what you can do is, say there's 3 or 4 guys you want, you put and there's only one guy you want to drop. You'll put all 3 of the guys you want to add, and if you don't get the first guy, then when it comes around again, you'll get the second guy. And then when it comes around, it's almost like you're doing like a draft again every week for guys that you want to pick up. But after Tuesday, happens Wednesday is the day that you are going to see who you got off waivers. And from then on, everybody can just be added and dropped instantly. So you only have that kind of 1 day period. We have it set for a 1 day waiver where you can you get that benefit if you're doing worse and being higher on the waiver wire. The only one caveat of that is the players that are dropped. So say, for example, we have that going on right now because Jay dropped the Raiders defense. If I drop a player just like how Jay dropped the Raiders, you can't just go, oh, he dropped him and immediately pick him up. That person will go on a 1 day waiver. So once again, everybody, if somebody drops somebody good for some reason and we all want to pick him up, we'll put in our request, and then the next day we'll find out who got him, and that's going to be the person that's higher on the waiver wire. If you choose not to pick anybody up during that waiver period, you move to the top of the list for these dropped guys. So even if you are doing the best in the league and you don't get anybody, you're at the top of the waiver wire list if you didn't get anybody during that 1 day. And this is kind of sounds confusing, but once you see in action, you guys are going to get it right away. It's really simple. The other thing is setting your roster. With that, your guys lock wherever they are the second the kickoff happens in the game they're on. So the times you want to pay attention is like if you have a guy who's a Thursday player, because there's going to be a Thursday night game, you might want to make sure if he's questionable or something that he's going to play. And then Sunday morning, you want to look and see the guys that are injured and stuff. And ESPN does a pretty good job of updating. Usually, you'll find that it'll either be probable or questionable. And probable means they're going to play. It's almost a sure thing. Questionable, they will update that before game time. And it's not really that much paying attention. You just kind of got to look Thursday and Saturday night, Sunday morning. and then there's a Monday night game too. So that's going to be the week: Thursday, Sunday, and Monday, as far as where your total score is going to be. And we're going up head to head, so it's going to be, like I'm playing Richie this week, so it's going to be all the scores from all Richie's guys that he chooses to play versus all the scores that I have, and that's our final score is going to be decide the winner or loser. And also for this league, I kind of wanted to do some fun things just to keep it interesting. So to start it off light this week, we're going to do whoever scores the most points gets to name the league. We haven't named the league yet, and I think it'd be kind of cool for whoever does the best this week to get the honor of doing that. And then I mentioned something about how your team names, don't get too attached to them. I thought a fun thing for next week to do is that all the winners get to name the team that they beat. So if you lose next week, you don't get to name your team. The person who beat you gets to do that. And then every week we're going to have something like that's going on. Just kind of to make it fun and interesting, keep the shit talking alive, and it's just fun to keep the communications just as half the fun. And I think once this week happens and you see the stuff just playing out, ESPN has this cool setting where you go to, I think it's called a fantasy cast on there, where it actually will have you versus the guy you're playing in these two brackets, and then within the brackets it will be live. You'll be able to tell, like, oh, my guy's offense is going right now. Oh, and it'll actually, if he catches the ball and runs with it, the score